Let's start. Okay, today our topic is what is morally wrong with homosexuality, made by Amber and Golian.
Let's watch the video first.
When we talk about heterosexuality, we talk about that wide range of activities. When we talk about homosexuality, we focus on the sex part of it. This is not the only time we get this sort of false contrast. I mean, we say things. We say, heterosexual people, we talk about relationships. Homosexual people, we talk about sex. We say heterosexual people have lives. Homosexual people have lifestyles. We say heterosexual people have a moral vision. Homosexual people have an agenda. The words we use to talk about these things really affect our way of thinking about them. And when we look to that Judeo-Christian Bible, we find some things that actually sound pretty negative with respect to same-sex relationships. The book of Leviticus says, "Man shall not lie with man as with woman. It is an abomination unto God." Of course, the book of Leviticus calls a number of other things abominations that we don't tend to pay attention to quite as often. The Bible suggests that those who divorce and remarry should be put to death. Why? Well, because the New Testament defines divorce as adultery. The Old Testament prescribes death for adultery. The Bible suggests that slavery is morally acceptable. And I say, the Bible contains no error. What are you going to do with those slavery passages? And you know what the people say to me? They say, "John, you are pulling those passages out of context. You can't just take passages out of the Bible and quote them as if they mean the same thing today as they did for the people at the time. You can't just pull the passages out of context." And I say, well, wait a second. If it's not okay to do that with the slavery passages, why is it okay to do that with the homosexuality passages? And there was a priest, Father Pryor, who wrote to the school paper. He was very upset that I had been invited to give this lecture, and he wrote this long letter to the school paper. And in his letter to the school paper, one of the things he said was, "Of course homosexuality is bad for society. If everyone were homosexual, there would be no society." I'm going to write to the school paper too, so I did. I wrote an open letter to Father Pryor. It said, "Dear Father Pryor, if everyone were a Roman Catholic priest, there'd be no society either." Does homosexuality cause AIDS? No. Virus causes AIDS. That virus can be passed along by homosexual activity, by heterosexual activity, by some activities that are not sexual at all. And furthermore, if AIDS risk were somehow supposed to be the barometer of morality, lesbians would be the most moral people in the world. Because from the standpoint of AIDS risk, lesbian sex is the way to go. I mean, think about it. Surgeon General recommends lesbianism. Okay, it's probably not going to happen, but there was a legislator when I lived in Texas, Warren Chisholm, who used to love this argument. He said, "Homosexuality is unnatural. Animals don't do that." Since when did animals start providing us with our moral standards? Particularly in the area of sex.
In the video, what's morally wrong with homosexuality? From YouTube, Dr. John Conwell refuted the traditional discrimination that homosexuality is wrong, it's morally wrong, and he appealed that the homosexuality should have the same rights with heterosexuality.
I think the video reflects the most important American value, equality. In the American culture, equality is the root of the American ideas of democracy. In the history, the founders of the nation wrote down the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. They thought that all the people should be judged by their own achievement, not by their family background and class. So everyone is equal when they were born. They have their own rights to choose which way they want to live in. They can choose the food, clothes, and the cars. They can choose the major, the workplace, and the home place. They can choose everything they want if they don't hurt anyone else's rights. Of course, they have their equal rights to choose their partner.
The Dr. John Kavanaugh just appealed for the same rights for the homosexuality. For example, in the radio, that the people use different words to describe the homosexuality. When they talk about heterosexuality, they use the positive words relationship, such as relationship, uh, lives, and moral vision. However, then talk about homosexuality, they use negative words such as sex, life, lifestyle, and gender. That's a discrimination for the homosexuality.
So, differences should be respected. People always attack others because of the difference, such as race, gender, and sex behavior, and trap them. In the American history, Martin Luther King gave a speech, "I have a dream," to appear the equality for the African American. The feminist movement in 19th century fought for the equality of women, while LGBT fight for their equal rights to chase their own happiness. LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender.
It is a huge moment for LGBT in the United States at 2015, June 26. That LGBT could get married legally in the United States. They finally could have the same equal rights to live with the people who they love, without discrimination.
I hope that could happen in China, because in traditional Chinese culture, LGBT are creepy, abnormal, and sick. They can get accept, they can get accepted by the society. They just live in the miserable lives. Some of them have to conceal their sex behavior, trap them, and live as heterosexuality that's unfair for them and their partners. So I hope homosexual marriage can be legal one day in China. Let's watch the next videos.
Now, in one of these discussions, my mother said, "I just do not understand why you have to be so open about your sexuality. Your father and I are not open about our sexuality." I want you to think about that sentence. Your father and I are not open about our sexuality. Not only is the person who utters that sentence openly heterosexual, she's open about having had sex at least once. Heterosexual people do this all the time. They talk about their wives and their husbands, their boyfriends and their girlfriends, people they have crushes on. Perfectly normal. We do the exact same thing, and we're flaunting it. We're making an issue out of it. And that's a double standard, and it's not fair. I think a big part of the solution is for straight people to actually get to know gay and lesbian people, because only then do we come to realize that we have many of the same hopes and dreams, fears and challenges as everyone else. I think the way gay and lesbian people are treated in our society is wrong. Not just irrational, but morally wrong. I think there's something perverted about the fact that we hate people because of whom they love. We do violence against people because of the affection that exists in their lives. And the effects of that treatment are a far greater moral tragedy than sex between consenting adults could ever be. I'm asking you to put yourself in people's shoes before you judge them. And I'm asking you to judge people, not on whom they love, but on whether they love. That's my moral vision. That's my agenda. And I thank you for listening so patiently to it.
In conclusion, equality is the most important American value, or the most important human being's value to everyone. The homosexuality should have the same rights to chase their own happiness, because they didn't do anything wrong, immoral at all, and they didn't hurt anyone at all. I hope one day we could evaluate somebody not because of their race, genders, or sex behavior tropism. We can just respect their equal rights to chase their own happiness.
Thanks for watching our videos.
I'm Boliang.
I'm Amber.